Story 1. I often think I do not want to do an exercise. After I do it, I feel good. Then I want to do that exercise again instead of moving on to a different one, and the cycle repeats. Story 2. Basketball is the best cardio for me. It includes short sprints for muscle growth and keeps hand-eye coordination sharp. Story 3. This is going to sound crazy, but skipping is not very practical. Every time I do it, it makes me laugh. Story 4. Bike riding, just casual rides. No yellow licorice shorts. Story 5. Yoga has been a part of my life for 55 years. I am flexible, have good posture, and breathing exercises help me relax when life starts hurling crap in my direction. Story 6. Swimming first, walking and hiking second. Good luck getting me to do anything else that could be considered exercise. Story 7. I like running. Not only is it great for you, but I enjoy zoning out and daydreaming while listening to music. Story 8. I have really come to love strength training with dumbbells and lifting. Story 9. Exercise routine changes with age. In my golden years, I walk on the treadmill. Story 10. Hiking with my dog is my top choice because it does not require being around other people. I also like Zumba classes, Pilates classes, and sometimes strength training at the gym using weights or resistance bands when my anxiety is not bad. Story 11. For daily activity, weightlifting allows me to do many other things. For fun and enjoyment, hiking lets you reach many amazing places. Story 12. I enjoy heavy lifting, hiking, and walking on a beautiful day. Story 13. Roller skating. As soon as my foot heals, I am getting back to the rink. I will also resume weightlifting. Story 14. 1. Cycling. 2. Running. I used to love running much more, but with 2 reconstructed knees it has become a lot more painful. However, whenever I travel somewhere new, going for a long 20 to 30 kilometer run is the best way to explore a city or town. You really see hidden gems and can stop for a drink, a bite, or a coffee. It is incredible. The same is true for cycling. I usually travel with my bicycle and go on rides of 100 miles or more. You see much more than you would in a car, eat at local cafes and shops, and I can eat as much as I want and still return from vacations the same weight or fitter. I occasionally lift weights and enjoy it, but I often find it extremely boring, so it is not a frequent activity. Story 15. Not to sound rude, but regular sex has been great exercise for my partner and me. Also, when I am using a machine, I prefer rowing machines. Story 16. I like treadmills and cardio because they are important. You burn a lot of calories and work up a good sweat. I'm not really into weight training, but I want to be fast and fit, and cardio helps me prepare. Story 17. Cross-country running with the hound. Just going to places I would never walk to while getting exercise. Story 18. Running on the treadmill while watching others royally mess up by using poor weightlifting technique. Story 19. Mountain biking. Cardio on the UPS. Cheers on the downs. Story 20. Favorite sports are running, basketball, and tennis. Most important is weightlifting, especially as I get older and lose muscle. Story 21. I walk at work every day, covering about 30 miles per week on average. Story 22. Weightlifting. I love seeing progress each week, even if it is just adding 5 pounds to the bar. Story 23. Kettlebells followed by swimming in that order works the entire body. Story 24. I enjoy group fitness. I did Orange Theory Fitness for years and now attend Burn Boot Camp. I appreciate the group atmosphere and circuit-style training. Story 25. Fencing. I have done a lot of running and some swimming, but those activities are boring. Story 26. Fitness boxing. I cannot afford to do it anymore, but my God, did it kick my ass. I felt amazing. Story 27. I run long distances, but I am injured and have not been able to run fully since August 1st. The next best option for me is cycling, which I can do, so I am grateful it is available. Story 28. There is a nice walking path behind my neighborhood. I like to walk it. It is 2 miles long. It is not in the wilderness, of course, but there are birds and turtles in the lake around which the path goes, and I like to stop to look at the turtles. I always take an obligatory turtle break, laughing out loud. Story 29. I exert myself so hard during a bowel movement that I break a sweat. Story 30. I work. I do cleaning, maintenance, yard work, snow shoveling, and so on. I am very muscular but need to gain some fat on my bones. I am laughing out loud. I am glad. Story 31. Hiking and swimming. Exercising in nature is very good for my mental health. Story 32. Long-distance cycling. Getting out and riding 40 or more miles is a great way to spend an afternoon. Story 33. I run up and down steep hills or mountains when the weather is nice. When the weather is not so nice, I lift heavy weights for a few months while waiting for the sun to return. Story 34. Hiking wins by a mile, followed closely by kayaking because exercise in nature cannot be beat. After that, Zumba has become a favorite because it is so fun, provides great cardio, and offers a mental challenge. Weightlifting and yoga give me the mental and physical strength to do more activities. Unless you have specific fitness goals, variety is the best way to stay consistent and enjoy the process. That is just my view. Story 35. Walking is so basic, yet it makes such a positive impact. I have never been in a bad mood after a walk. After that comes cycling and lifting weights. Story 36. Snowshoeing is a short season, so for the rest of the year I split firewood with an 8-pound maul, haul it in my cart using my legs instead of a tractor, and stack it for the winter. I maintain 1 acre with a push mower and trim weeds with a sharp manual whacker. I am 65 and working hard to keep the old man at bay. Story 37. In order: horseback riding, hiking, weightlifting, swimming, and running. Story 38. I play hockey, usually with players much younger than I am, and I still do well. Story 39. Anything that lets me trick my brain into thinking I am not exercising, such as hiking, power walking with my dog, or rollerblading. I cannot motivate myself to go to a gym and use a machine solely to work out. The same goes for running. Unless I am being chased by a monster, I do not want to do it. Story 40. Bicycling. I'm 53. Riding my bike is the closest thing to getting back to my childhood. Story 41. I enjoy listening to music while walking in a nature park or around my neighborhood. Lately, I try to time my walks to catch the sunset, since we often have very beautiful sunsets where I live. Story 42. Playing in the pool. Playing on the beach. Playing tag with my nephew. Hitting balls at a batting cage for fun. Enjoying time at a skating rink. The first few months of Pokemon Go. Story 43. I prefer my exercise to be a means to an end. Hiking up a mountain to see something cool is fun. Using a stair climber in my basement is tedious. Story 44. Weather permitting, I go for an hour-long walk every morning. Story 45. I am out of shape right now, but swimming laps is an amazing form of exercise. Story 46. I play dodgeball, a team sport, and I enjoy most ball sports. Story 47. A simple, long walk clears my mind and keeps my body moving. Story 48. Pre-workout and a 2-hour sex session. We usually build up to it and take a few 10-minute breaks. That is part of why I only date fit women. This way we can do this instead of walking for an hour, or anabolic cardio. I do a set of compound movements followed by a set of isolated movements for 2 muscle groups. It is fun for me. I do not like the routine of doing a set, waiting 2 minutes, and doing another set. Story 49. Processing wood from the forest to the log pile. Cutting with a chainsaw, carrying the logs, and splitting them. I enjoy every part of the process. Story 50. I am a gym girl. I always do stretches, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and lunges. Then I use the hip adductor and abductor machines and try not to die. Once I survive those, I go to the abdominal crunch machine, the lat pull-down, dumbbells, and the leg press machine. I finish with cardio on the treadmill, getting at least 2 miles. I do not have a single favorite exercise, but my routine is my favorite. Story 51. 90 minutes of lifting weights followed by 30 minutes in the sauna. Story 52. Boxing. A good boxing cardio class can burn 1,000 calories in an hour and is a lot of fun. Story 53. I go trail riding on a mountain bike. I become exhausted, but I can push through because it is so much fun. It has helped me lose weight and is a fantastic cardiovascular workout as well as a complete leg workout. Story 54. I like to exercise the Fifth Amendment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Story 55. Swimming is the only thing I can stay motivated to do. Story 56. Rock climbing, kayaking, hiking, martial arts, tumbling, for example cartwheels, handstands, somersaults, riding my kick scooter, going on the swings at a playground, and running, although I have to be in the right mood. I enjoy walking, though I am not sure if that counts. Writing this list makes me a little sad because I am currently recovering from anterior cruciate ligament surgery. It was 2 months ago and I am doing really well, but I still cannot do most of these activities. Story 57. I play pickleball regularly, and nothing else comes close. When we travel, I enjoy hiking through beautiful parks. Hiking is my #1 activity in any season, but we mostly do it while traveling. Story 58. Ice hockey is high-intensity interval training, balance training, and fun, all wrapped into an exercise burrito. Story 59. Put on your earbuds, lift weights, and disconnect from the world. Story 60. I have just gotten back into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and am attending classes 5 days a week. Story 61. I'm the only man in my Zumba group, but I don't mind. I love the activity. Story 62. Walking, just chill, lalo na kapag gabi. Cycling. As someone not tamid magbayading transportation, it eases my budget kay at untay-untay at Nakakagala AKO without thinking about fares. Story 63. Something that lets me exercise without having to think much, like a bicycle or an elliptical machine. Story 64. Lately I have been doing La Grille. I also alternate between Pilates, running, and bar. Story 65. I am sitting on the exercise bike listening to music, so it is good. Story 66. Stretching the truth. Running my mouth. Dodging responsibility. Climbing over people. Skipping work. And I finish off with pumping aluminum 12-ounce curls. Story 67. Does shagging count? Otherwise, I do jogging, biking, swimming, and yoga. I recently started learning fencing. Story 68. Too many to choose from. I guess cycling, though I'm doing a lot of hiking with our dogs lately. Of course, skiing and snowshoeing are difficult to do in the warm months. But if there is snow, they would be near the top of the list. I guess lifting would be near the bottom alongside core exercises. Sex is up there too. Story 69. I run on a treadmill. I don't particularly like it, but it's the only one I actually do. Story 70. Running exhausts me, so I cannot perform at my best for the rest of the day and cannot run 6 days a week. Story 71. I love deadlifting. I do sumo, Romanian, stiff leg, zercher, and trap bar deadlifts. When I was not attending school, I alternated between 2 of them each week. Story 72. Lifting heavy weights is the best antidepressant in the world. Story 73. Weightlifting. As a woman, I love the feeling of being strong. Story 74. I do not know. Weightlifting makes me feel better, but I prefer riding bikes. Story 75. I get my exercise by jumping to conclusions and pushing my luck. Story 76. Making everything around you heavy. Also, using a heavy blanket you exercise while sleeping. Story 77. I am sitting in my chair, sipping a cold beer while watching a documentary. Story 78. I walk my 80-pound, all-black Shepherdor at 1 a.m. in a sketchy neighborhood. He keeps me safe from potential threats. Story 79. I am a lifelong lifting enthusiast and a full-time singer. One odd thing about my job is that I cannot train very hard because the rigidity my body gets from bodybuilding and powerlifting workouts directly antagonizes the breathing technique I need for high-intensity singing. I quit lifting for a while and lost a lot of strength and size. I recently found a lifting strategy that is very compatible with my work. It is called greasing the groove. Pick an exercise. It works best with technical compound lifts, and if you do not have a home gym, choose exercises that require little equipment, for example pull-ups. Do as many as you can, then take that number, cut it in half and subtract 1. Perform that many repetitions at least once a day. Focus on perfect form and be explosive. If you feel good, do more. Sometimes I do as many as 3 sets a day. That is it. You are training your body to learn the movement neurologically, and after a few weeks it will become much easier. Then add 1 repetition and continue. Once a week go to failure on 1 set so your body learns how to push hard. I also do cardio and yoga every day, but greasing the groove plus 1 set to failure each week is the basis of my lifting. I currently use a circuit of 9 exercises. I am never sore or rigid, and in about 6 months my maximum repetitions on the following exercises changed as follows. Bench press at 185 pounds, 1 to 8. Bodyweight pull-ups, 10 to 20. Bodyweight pistol squat, 1 to 14. 1 arm bent over row at 82 pounds, 6 to 16. Bodyweight handstand push-ups, 1 to 8. Try it even if there is just 1 exercise you want to improve. It is easy to overdo this, so start with 1 set per day and add more as you gain confidence. Story 80. I like biking quite a bit. I have made it my main way of getting around, and I have very muscular legs because of it. My arm strength needs work, though. Story 81. I love walking on the treadmill, but my girlfriend prefers the hip abductor machine because she has strong legs like a bear. Cannot keep up. Fortunately, she has the upper arm strength of a wet noodle. Story 82. Downhill skiing, horseback riding, weightlifting, walking. Story 83. I walk my dog and lift weights at the gym. My favorite activity is probably playing basketball. Story 84. I bet nobody will agree, but push-ups are my strength. I'm really good at them and I feel very worked out after I do them. Story 85. I dislike exercise of all kinds and find it very boring. I love to hike, so if that counts as exercise, hiking is my preferred form. It is hard to do every day because it is very time-consuming. Story 86. I work in a sales job with a lot of downtime. Our store has a track around the showroom, so I try to get my 10,000 steps every day. Story 87. I am 63 years old. I walk 8 to 10 miles a day as a guide in my city. That helps offset my beer drinking. Story 88. Manual labor. I work in construction and I've always liked making things and working with my hands. I've tried the gym several times, sometimes for a few years, but I always get bored and eventually stop. I prefer the sense of accomplishment I get from seeing a finished product I made with my hands versus lifting weights. Story 89. My sister introduced me to CrossFit. I feel like I might vomit during most workouts, but getting one I genuinely feel and see the benefits of in 15 minutes or less is my kind of workout. Story 90. Every day I run my mouth and jump to conclusions. About 3 times a week I push my luck, but that is starting to slow down with age. Story 91. I have taken up cycling in the last couple of months. My plantar fasciitis is very painful when I walk after work. Story 92. I feel so good after Pilates, and I know it will be beneficial as I age. Story 93. I have sex with my girlfriend every night. We have been dating for 2 years. Story 94. I have been skating around the neighborhood on my inline speed skates lately. Story 95. Biking helps me avoid both driving and pointless exercise when I travel to work, the store, and other places. Story 96. I don't know how I managed to do this, but at first glance I read, "What is your favorite form of existence?" Story 97. I walked 5 kilometers yesterday. It helps me process my problems and emotions. Story 98. Run early, preferably outside, along the quiet boardwalk beside the river. Story 99. I enjoy hiking. I like running too, but I need to get back in shape to enjoy it again. Story 100. I like walking or quick workouts like Tabata. I don't have much space and I dislike the gym. Story 101. I enjoy hiking for the views and the sense of achievement that comes once it is done. Story 102. CrossFit. I know it sounds lame, but I love it. I started in 2010, and there is nothing else that gives me the same level of satisfaction, motivational trauma, and the feeling that I might vomit. Do not worry. I have never vomited from a workout. Story 103. Sex. Yes, I know that does not count, but it is the only enjoyable form. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.